What's up, YouTube? Redline Gary coming at you here. We're going to continue on part 2 of our Save the Track series. What do we have for you tonight? Well, we have a lot. Let's talk about sanctioning bodies, touring series. Okay? To get these into perspective, we have touring series like VCTS, Wheelman, ARCA used to be one, ASA. In dirt, there's USAC, there's CART, there's FAST for the 410s. Trying to think of SCDRA is another one. Sanctioning bodies make it easier to go multi-track because it's only one set of universal rules per class. So as long as that sanctioning body is promoting that event, those rules apply. It's not specific to track. Well, how does a track accommodate their rules to bring in such a series? We need to have conversation. A lot of track owners do talk to each other. They, want to find out what's working, what's not, yada, yada, yada. Have the rules universal across anything. It also makes that much more sense to have a sanctioning body come out of that work to promote a new series. With that, you have to expand the number of days that you're racing. If your track is only scheduled at a Friday night or a Saturday night, you might want to look into 3 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes, the cost is going to go up. With that, though, there are ways to offset that cost greatly. If you're bringing in, a different sanctioning body and touring series, you're going to get the car counts required to make it worth your while for those races. You're also going to have various tracks that are on board. If I can race track number 1 on Friday night, I can race track 2 on Saturday, I can race track 3 on Sunday. There's no reason why I can't do that. The payout would be the same across the board on these tracks, providing that the tracks actually had the infrastructure, built into place that would help said event. That goes back to video number 1. We have to have clear and concise rules per class, per division, that do not change unless there is something that comes to fruition that it needs to change. Okay, whether that be a tire rule or something else, it doesn't really negate the discussion here. If you're changing your rules every week because somebody's crying, there is a problem, and you're going to lose cars. It's inevitable. Nobody's going to put up with that. We all have to abide by the same rules, and if the rules are there, then everybody finds the gray area the same. If you split the classes over the 3-day weekend, you're allowing the fan to go to the races that they really want to see. And you're not trying to compact it all into one night of racing. It makes it very easy at that point to run 2 classes and side attractions or various other activities. Okay, you might have a beginner's class that starts off the night. Then you have your other 2 classes that are heavy hitters. This does a lot. The faster you can get the noise down in urbanized areas, because that was something that was brought up by a commenter, that more areas are urbanizing and they're getting way too close to racetracks, and they're having a major fit because they moved right next to a racetrack. Same thing about moving next to a train track. Yeah, I got nothing. Splitting the classes also allows for sponsors to get on board for that night. A lot easier than trying to Oh, well, it's only one night of the week. No, I can have my business displayed at the track for 3 nights worth of activities, a lot more potential people, and that's more of an investment of my money for sponsoring said track or event. Goes a long way. With that, yeah, there's going to be safety protocols. Okay, there's going to be things like, well, how do I run concessions for 3 days? The idea is much like yesteryear. Okay, a lot of tracks used to run Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Why? Because they had the infrastructure built and put into place that they could easily do that. Now, over time, they got away from it because, yeah, it wasn't bringing in a lot of things because their habits of what a show looks like did not change. Also, with that, a lot of them didn't listen to the fans. And that's why they're no longer in business. Now, that's not saying that everybody fell through that. A lot of tracks fell through, whether the owners had passed away, urbanizing, I guess, would be the right word. Houses, city ordinances, things of that nature, too many complaints. This all goes back to what we talked about before. If, in fact, the track is making a ton of money and it is giving back to the community in various ways, the community at large is not going to have such an ill-sighted view of the track. Not to get too far down the rabbit hole, but how many times have you actually witnessed a track putting up money for, like, college tuition for somebody, or, giving back to the community? Some tracks do in very small ways, but they also don't have the profits to do major community philanthropic, work. Okay? This is where the rubber hits the road. The more you're involved with that community, the more you're involved with the county commissioner's office, the more that you're involved with the zoning commission, the more that you're involved with these entities as they were, the harder it's going to be for them to turn an eye and say, look, this is a bad idea because we want more houses. They're going to look at, this is a vital asset to our community and we need it. Going on, social media, going live. That means on like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Why aren't you showing, Winner's Circle live or some variation thereof? It is 21st century. Utilize the technology and the free resources that you have in order to grow an audience. It may be somebody that's out of state, but they're considering going to your track because they want to run in that series, because that series has a good payout, and it is worth them from traveling on one side of the border to the other to make that worthwhile. Okay, now we're moving into something that's a little bit bigger. Let's talk about track infrastructure. What's the racing surface like? How old is it? Okay, when's the last time it had ever been repaved? If it's got potholes, nobody's going to waste their time. I know of a couple of tracks that this went flying by the wayside. Once they got new owners, the owner wanted to turn it into a parking lot rather than a racetrack because his Pride and Joy track that brought in a lot of people is still going on strong. What's the seating like? If I'm going to get a splinter in my ass, you could bet that's going to be a put off right there. Shelter. Is there a place to go if it rains? Some of the best designed tracks have like an awning or something over top of the bleachers. This allows for the sun not to, be beaming on them and they're burning up. But also if there's a rain shower, they can still be protected somewhat from the elements. Because if they know that there's a chance of rain, chances are they're not going to go and you're going to get a lower turnout. What's the cost of building said structure versus losing out on all those potential people. They're more apt to stay to see if the track will dry out and spend money at concessions if they know they can stay dry. And it would still be a worthy night. You'd still make a little bit of profit. Track lighting. There's always going to be an issue with this. If drivers can't see under the lights, that's a major, major thing. Also, fans. I mean, that goes back with seating, okay? If I'm sitting and there's a freaking huge pole right in my way and I can't see a lot of the action, yeah, I could move to another area, providing that there is another area. And some of the tracks that I've went to that have the best visibility, they have been dirt. But you have assigned seating and things like that that we're not discussing in this video. We're only looking at what we can do cost effectively with some fluid parts to make things work, to at least get more rolling for our beloved track. So with that, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if I missed something. If you like the content, like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the little bell. Let me know you appreciate it. Or if you hate it. Yeah, either or. Let's have a conversation below. Redline Gary, keep it on the track.